Hello everyone. In this session, we will discuss about some more methods in interpolation. Now let us go into the session. So in this, we'll start with Newton's Newton's Gregory forward interpolation let the function f of x, or I should say y equal to f of x, take the values y0, y1, y2, and so on, corresponding to the values of x, that is x0, x1, x2. I'm sorry, let me change it. Let me write it as, yeah, sorry, x0 plus h, x0 plus 2h, and so on. Full stop. Suppose it is required to evaluate f of x for x is equal to x naught plus p times h, where p is any real number. Then yp, y suffix p, is equal to y naught plus p times delta y naught plus p into p minus 1 divided by 2 factorial delta square y naught plus p into p minus 1 p minus 2 divided by 3 factorial into delta cube y naught plus and so on. So what is all this delta and all? We will understand these things through an example. Basically, it is an interpolation. So how do we interpolate using this formula? We'll see that with an example. So I will write a question. The following table gives the distances in units, some units in units of the visible horizon for the given heights again heights in some units above the earth surface, above the earth surface. Okay, so let me draw a table now. Table having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 columns and 2 rows. So X is our height. Convert it into small. Then Y is distance. Then we convert this into small y. 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400. And the distance 10.63, 13.03, 15.04, 16.81, 18.42, 19.91, 21.27. Yeah. So this is the data. Now question is find the values. Find the values of y when question A x equal to 218. Question B x is equal to 410. So let me do only one here. Let us write only x 218 because the other one I will do something else. When x is equal to 208, let us do this only. Right. Now, first thing we may note that this x values, whatever is given, 100, 150, 200, the gap between each is 50. 100, if I add 50, I get 150. Again, if I add 50, I get 200. Means there is an equal interval in the data being given. Only then you can use this formula. If there is an equal interval, then only you can use this formula. That is why here, instead of writing x0, x1, x2, it is written as x0 plus comma, x0 plus h, x0 plus 2h. Means this h is the gap, equal gap. Everywhere here, the gap is 50 only. So we can say for this solution, here h is equal to 50. That is interval between two successive x values, right? So now let me draw for the solution. I am going to draw what is called as a difference table. We are going to draw what is called as a difference table. What is difference table? We'll draw that here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 rows and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns like this. So here I will write your x. X is given as 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400. Then y is given in the question as all these values 10.63 etc. So 10.63, 13.03, then 15.04, 16.81, 18.42, 19.92, 21.27. The next one I will write the column delta y. What is delta y? It is the difference between this value, that is 13.03 minus 10.63. So how much it is? If you subtract 13.03 minus 10.63, you get 2.4. I am going to write that in the middle. Then comes 15.04 minus 13.03. Again, that is 2.01. Then 16.81 minus 15.04. That is 1.77. Then 18.42 minus 16.81. You get 1.61. Then 19.92 minus 18.42. 1.48. Then 21.27 minus 19. This is 91 or just a minute. 91, sorry. Not 92, it is 91. So 21.27 minus 19.91, you get how much? 1.36. This you call it as first order difference. This is called as first order difference. Then we proceed finding second order difference. Delta square y. What is that? It is the difference between this value, that is 2.01 minus 2.40. If you calculate that, you will get negative 0.39. Then 1.77 minus 2.01. If you calculate that, you get negative 0.24. Then 1.61 minus 1.77, you get negative 0.16. Then 1.48 minus 1.61, you get negative 0.13. Then 1.36 minus 1.48, you get negative 0.12. Next one, delta cube y. That is third order difference, which is negative 0.24 minus of minus 0.39. So it becomes plus 0.15. Then the next, negative 0.16 minus of minus 0.24. you get 0.08. Then negative 0.13 minus of minus 0.16. Then negative 0.12 minus of minus 0.13, which is 0.01. Then comes delta power 4 y. So this minus this means 0.08 minus 0.15. It will be negative 0.07. This will be negative 0.05. This will be negative 0.02. Then the next one, fifth order difference, negative 0.05 minus of minus 0.07, you get what? Positive 0.02. If you subtract these two, you get positive 0.03. Then the last. Why last? Because here you land up with only one value. There will subsequently there will be nothing to subtract. So you are stopping there. So the very first value, I mean, what is that formula we are interested in? We are interested in using this formula. We are supposed to find when x is equal to 218, what will be the y value? That is what is interested. Find the value of y when x is taking a value 218. 218 comes in between these two, 200 and 250. For that reason, we will be using a forward interpolation because this 218 comes, suppose if I divide this data, this is having totally 7 entries, right? If this 218 comes before the fourth value, means it is coming in the beginning. So for that reason, we'll be using this forward interpolation formula. And that too, there is a common interval because everything gap is 50 only. For that reason, again, we are going to use this particular formula, right? Now, what is this P? See, we have P for like this. Suppose it is required to evaluate f of x for x equal to x naught plus ph, right? Where P is any real number. So let us do now. First of all, what is x naught? Because in this formula, you may note x naught is there. You need x naught. So you need to identify x naught is nothing but the very first value of instead of very first value, what we will consider is okay. So we will do one thing. So I'll write it as, since we are interested in finding, y value if x is equal to 218. What is given? Yeah, 218. Which is coming in between 200 and 250, means 218, this value of x comes in between 200 and 250, right? Between 200 and 250, we will consider x naught as this value 200, x naught as 200. Then the corresponding y naught will be what? If x naught is 200, corresponding y naught will be this, means 15.04. Then if you look into this formula, what all you require? You require delta y naught, delta square y naught, delta cube y naught. So we need to identify that. Delta y naught will be what? 1.77, because this is the third value. If you look into first value, second value, third value, the corresponding third value is 15.04. The corresponding third value is 1.77. 1.77. Then delta square y naught. What is delta square y naught? In that delta square y, what is the third value? Negative point. So let me mark it. Negative 0.16. Then delta cube y naught is, what is that? 0.03. Then delta power 4 y naught is what? 0.02. Negative 0.02. Negative 0.02. Here you don't have a third value. Here you don't have a third value. So you need not consider delta power 5 and delta power 6. You are restricted only up to third value. Now I can consider, if I am having what do you call, x equal to x naught plus ph, which means x minus x naught divided by h will be our p value. So what is our x? X is 218. X is 218. X naught is 200. H is the gap. Gap is 50. Here h is 50. So it is 18 by 50. 18 by 50, if you calculate, it is 0.36. Now let us bring in the formula. Formula says y suffix p is equal to y naught plus p times delta y naught plus p into p minus 1 by 2 factorial delta power 2 y naught plus p into p minus 1 p minus 2 by 3 factorial delta cube y naught plus, I need to expand further, p, because we are having up to delta power 4. So I need to have one more, minus 1, p minus 2, p minus 3, then divided by 4 factorial delta power 4 y naught. We can stop because after delta power 4, we didn't write any values. We can stop the formula till there. So that will be equal to, what is p? P is y 0.36. What is that? Y naught? Y naught, we already identified it as 15.04 plus p. What is p? It is 0.36. Delta y naught. Delta y naught is 1.77 plus 0.36. 0.36 minus 1 divided by 2 factorial is 2. Delta power 2 y naught is negative 0.06. Negative 0.16. Negative 0.16. Yeah. Then plus 0.36. 0.36 minus 1 is actually negative 0.64. Then p minus 2. P minus 2 means it is 0.36 minus 2 divided by 3 factorial is 6. Delta cube y naught is what? 0.03. So let me write here 0.03 also. Plus p. P is 0.36. P minus 1 is negative 0.64. P minus 2 is 0.36 minus 2. 0.36 minus 3. Delta power 4 y naught. What is delta power 4? Negative 0.02. Negative 0.02. Whole thing divided by 4 factorial. 4 factorial is 24. Now, this we need to evaluate. First, we'll write as it is 15.04 plus. What is 0.36 into 1.77? If we calculate that, 0.36 into 1.77, we get 0.6372. Then next one, it is 0.36 into 0.64 into 0.16. Actually, this value is negative. There is one more negative, so it will become ultimately positive. Then divided by 2. So you get let me redo it. 0.36. Here it is negative 0.64, negative 0.16. So 0.36 into 0.64 into 0.16 divided by 2. We get 0.0184. I'm keeping up to 4 digits. So here, if you look into, this will be positive. This is positive. This is, sorry, this is negative. This is also negative. This is positive. So that means ultimately it is positive. 0.36 minus 2. It is actually 1.64 into 0.64 into 0.03 into 0.36. Whatever result, you have to divide it by 6. So you actually get positive 0.0019. And here, this is negative. This is also negative. This is also negative. This is also negative. Means ultimately it will be positive. Now let us calculate it. 0.36 into 0.64 into 0.02. So I'm doing these three. So to get 0.0046, and then I need to do these things separately. 0.36 minus 2, you get 1.64, and then 0.36 minus 3, I get 2.64 by 24. Let us do that. So let me add now 15.04 plus 0.6372 plus 0.0184 plus 0.0019. You get 15.6975. Now let me do this part. 0.0046 into 1.64 into 2.64 divided by 24. We get 0.0008. So if I add with 15.6975, we get 15.6983. Let me write units. Means if x is 218, if x is 218, in between these two, the y value will be 15.6983. Let me write Newton's backward interpolation formula. It is y suffix p is equal to y suffix n plus p times inverted delta, or you can also call it as nebula, plus p into p plus 1 by 2 factorial nebula square yn plus p into p plus 1 p plus 2 divided by 3 factorial nebula cube y suffix n plus and so on. So let me write for the above same example, same question, find y if x is equal to 410. Initially, in that I wrote 410 and then I rubbed it actually. In this question, I also wrote 410 and then subsequently I rubbed it. Reason is I want to do it as a different problem. So that is the reason that time I rubbed it. Now we are using the same data, but we are going to now use now going to find y if x is equal to 410. So if you look into this 410, actually in this data, 410 comes in the end of the table, whereas 218 comes in between, or I should say in the beginning, because it is in between 200 and 250, which is in between. So that's the reason we used a forward formula. Now 410 will be using the backward formula. So let's see how do we do it. The difference table will be the same. I'll say since x is equal to 410. X is equal to 410 is near the end of the table. Near the end of the table, we will use backward interpolation formula. Backward interpolation formula. So we'll consider our x suffix n as last value, which is 400, and p is x minus xn divided by h. There in forward formula we wrote p as x minus x naught by h. X naught we wrote, here we are writing xn. That's the difference. So our x is 410, xn is 400, h is 50, which means it is 10 by 50 or 0.2. So our p value is 0.2. Now, what is yn? Let me circle those in the table. The last values. This is our xn. This is our yn. This is the last value. 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 We can consider that also, but we can ignore because it will give only, I can stop it till delta power 4 itself, because subsequent values will give me very less impact. Now, our yn we identified as 21 point, what is that we identified? 21.27, 1.36, like that, right? So let me write that. Yn is 21.27, then nebula yn is 1 point, how much? 1.36. 1.36, then nebula square yn is, just a minute. And this is what? Negative 0.12, 0.01, negative 0.12. The next one is 0.01, negative 0.02. 0.01, and then negative 0.0. Yes. So we have now y suffix p is yn plus p times nebula yn plus p into p plus 1 by 2 factorial nebula square yn plus p into p plus 1 into p plus 2 divided by 3 factorial nebula cube yn plus p plus 1, p plus 2, p plus 3 by 4 factorial nebula power 4 yn. So let us now substitute, which means y suffix, what is p? P is 0.2. Y suffix 0.2 is yn, which is 21.27 plus 0.2 multiplied by 1.36 plus p, that is 0.2, p plus 1, that is 0.2 plus 1 is 1.2, divided by 2 factorial is 2, multiplied by nebula square, which is negative 0.12, plus p, that is 0.2, p plus 1, 1.2, p plus 2, 2.2, by 3 factorial is 6, nebula cube yn is 0.01. Then finally p, that is 0.2, 1.2, 2.2, 3.2, and this is negative 0.02 divided by 4 factorial is 24. Now, if we evaluate the values, first one I'll write it as it is 21.27. The next one 0.2 into 1.36. It is 0.272. Then here one negative is there, so it should be negative. 0.2 into 1.2 into 0.12 divided by 2. You get minus 0.0144. Yeah, this one is positive. So 0.2 into 1.2 into 2.2 into 0.01 divided by 6. You get plus 0.00088. This is one negative is there, so it should be negative. 0.2 into 1.2 into 2.2 into 3.2 into 0.02 divided by 24. So you will have negative 0.001408. So we get, if I add all this, plus 0.00088 minus 0.0144 plus 0.272 plus 21.27. You get 21.5, I'll round it off, 53 units. Means if it is 410, you get 21.53. Means in that table, if it is 410, it is increasing. Yeah, it looks correct, 21.5. Next, in this example, whatever we had seen, the intervals are equal, means 100 to 150, 50, 150 to 200, 200 to 50. All the gap between two successive values of x is 50 and it is equal. What if it is unequal? So we have a different style of interpolation with unequal intervals. We'll see that what it is. Interpolation with unequal intervals. We'll see what is called as Lagrange's interpolation formula. We'll be seeing two methods. First one is Lagrange's method. We also have Newton's method that we will see subsequently. If y equal to f of x takes the values y0, y1, y2 and so on corresponding to x equal to x0, x1, x2 and so on, then I'll write the formula here. Then f of x is equal to x minus x1, x minus x2 and so on, x minus xn divided by x naught minus x1, x naught minus x2, multiplied and so on, x naught minus xn, and in the numerator y naught, then plus x minus x naught, x minus x2, and so on, x minus xn. You may notice a pattern here. Here in the numerator, x naught do not come. Instead, x comes. Whereas in the denominator, same thing. Instead of x, x naught is coming, right? Again, if you look into the second one, x is coming in the first term, whereas x1 don't come. X1 comes here in the denominator instead of x. Means everywhere instead of x, it will be x1. Subtraction will be the same. Here you will have y1. Plus and so on. Then in the last, you will have same like this. Here you will have yn. What will be there? Here you will have x naught, x1, you will have x n minus 1. You will have the same thing. Here you will have x, x, x. Here you will have x n. So there is a little bit of pattern to remember the formula. So this is Lagrange's formula for interpolation, where there is an unequal interval between successive x values. So let me do this with an example. How do we do an interpolation against a particular numerical example? Find a question. Find f of 9 using Lagrange's method for the following data. For the following data. Here I will draw the table having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns, 2 rows. Let me write here x. This is f of x, 5, 7, 11. You may notice here itself, gap between 5 and 7 is 2, whereas gap between 7 and 11 is 4. So gap is not the same, means unequal interval. Again 13, 17. F of x values are known to be 150, 392, 1492, 2366, 5202. So here we may note that the interval between successive values of x are unequal. Means 7 minus 5, it is 2. 11 minus 7, it is 4. It is not the same. Okay, now let us write down what are all available. X naught is first value, which is 5. Then x1 is 7, x2 is 11, x3 is 13, x4 is 17, y naught is 150, y1 is 392, y2 is 1492, y3 is 2366, y4 is 520. So straight away we can apply the formula when x is equal to 9 to find f of x, that is f of 9. That is what is the question. Find f of 9 means when x is equal to 9, in between 7 and 11, what is f of 9? So we have the formula. Let us repeat the formula once again. X minus x1, x minus x2, x minus x3, x minus x4. Because we have up to x4, so I would write that much. Then y naught divided by minus x1 minus x2 minus x3 minus x4. Here we will have x naught everywhere. Then next one. So here we have x minus x naught. X minus x1 won't come, x2, x3, x4. Here x1 will come. This element, the second element remains like your numerator. Then formula itself is lengthy. Here x2 won't come. Two more we have to write. X naught, x1, x2, x3 won't come. Here x3 minus x naught, x3 minus x1, x3 minus x2, x3 minus x4. One more term we have to write. So here x4 won't come, x0, x1, x2, x3. This will be x4. Now the formula is ready. For that itself it took time. Only thing is you need to substitute x for 9, x1 for 7, x2 for 11. Likewise, all the values are available. You are supposed to substitute the values in this formula to see what is that f of 9 you are going to get. We will continue in our next session for the solution of this particular problem. In case if you find the contents of this video to be useful to you, I request you to please like, share it with your friends and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you.